There we go. Anna Nicholson is here with the EntreMusician. Thank you very much for joining the podcast today. I have a fantastic guest from the UK, Colin Whittaker from the Colin Whittaker Band. If you don't know about them, you need to know about them. You have to look them up, and I will send some information on that. But joining us is Colin. Hello, Colin. How are you?
Hi. I'm not bad. I'm good. I just say I'm on vacation. I'm on the beach, but I'm ready. I think 2 or 3 weeks on the beach is enough for me, and I'm ready to get back to work. So
you're ready to get back to work.
Though. I'm good, and it's nice to speak to people around the world, especially around Canada. And it's great. So,
yeah, you've got to, take the opportunity. Thank you very much for joining us. And I know that you are on vacation because one of your most important members is not very well right now. So we hope that will get better soon. And I can't imagine what the beaches are like in the UK. I was thinking you were in the Caribbean somewhere, but any beach is good, right, Colin?
Yeah, I mean, on the beach is the term that footballers use when they get to the end of the season. So it's more of a.
It's an expression. That's fantastic. I'm thinking actual palm trees, but that makes much more sense. Okay. Colin, give us an introduction of yourself and the Colin Whittaker Band. Tell us about the music that you write and the style.
Well, the thing about this group is, for some reason, we instinctively mix different genres of music together. The first single we did was called "Love Don't Look Like This," and that was country music with a reggae backbeat, which is very, very unusual. There's no country reggae charts that I'm aware of, so we were top of that chart for a while. The latest single is about Nina Simone, and that mixes jazz and reggae together, which again is unusual. But we don't consciously think, oh right, what we're going to do next? We're going to mix this and that together. It just happens instinctively. So I don't know why that is. I suppose because we've all got different musical backgrounds, and it all comes out in the writing, I suppose.
What is your musical background?
Sorry?
What is your musical background?
My musical background is working in covers bands, doing not material that I haven't written in sort of clubs. And I'm still doing that. I still make a living as a singer, doing cover versions. So that pays my rent, if you like.
What covers do you do?
I do a lot of reggae music, funnily enough.
Oh, do you really?
I do reggae music, I do rock and roll, but I do everything. I do a mixture of everything. I did a gig last night, and at the start, a couple of people said, "What sort of stuff do you do?" And I said, "I do a bit of everything," because I do a bit of everything, So it's good. I really enjoy. I work as a solo act with backing tapes, and it's great. And I've been doing it for a long time, and I'm now confident on stage, which I wasn't when I first started. I mean, I started in the first group at 14 and a half.
14 and a half.
14 and a half years old. Yeah.
Wow. That's quite a long time.
It is.
That's a lot of great experience.
I was very, very nervous on stage, but now I'm just full of confidence. So, and that comes with years of experience, I suppose. And, what's the point in going on stage feeling nervous and looking nervous? It's not going to work. So I'd rather make a fool of myself to a certain extent than look nervous. So,
well, and eventually, absolutely, and eventually you get there, right? And you need to go through the motions to gain the confidence that you have. But and I love the confidence you have. I love what you exude on stage and on video with your videos. And we spoke a little while ago about branding and about the kind of look and feel that the band has. Did you want to just touch on that again and give us a sense of what you're aiming for with your music?
I don't know what I'm aiming for, really. The thing is, for me as a songwriter, I can't stop writing songs. It's like an addiction, if you like. So I'll keep writing until the day I die. And I started writing songs about, well, a few as a teenager, and I've never stopped, you know. So it's an addiction, I think. Yeah.
It's a happy one.
But
It's a
you know
good
what
one.
it's like. You know what it's like. It's such a magical experience, recording a song and getting it, the final mix. The process of recording is so interesting and fascinating, and every time it's different, and it's just a wonderful thing to be involved with. And Will Jackson, who's the guy who's not available right now, is a wonderful musician, and he's got a great imagination, and the studio is wonderful, you know, high tech, and it's just amazing what you can do in a studio. It's just wonderful, and it's the biggest that I get, really. So I've written up about 700 songs altogether now, more or less, I think. I don't know the exact number. I've written 5 this year.
I know you keep pumping them out. It's like every month there's another one. Which is fantastic. And I love what you're doing. I also will give a little blurb for the audience as well. So how Colin and I got acquainted is I bumped into him online using LinkedIn. I don't know where I saw a clip of Colin's material, but I absolutely was fascinated with the style. I don't know how else to describe it, and the quirkiness that I saw in the music and the vocals and the different sounds. They have all kinds of interesting sounds in their songs. Every song is different. We spoke a little bit a while ago, and he'll talk about the new song called Simone. But you know, the style of music is a combination. It could be anything from country, reggae to jazz. Combined with reggae or rock pop, which is kind of eclectic and progressive. It's just, and the mix of instruments and the layers of interest that they are able to put into their music is fascinating. So let's talk about Simone. I think that song is fantastic. And I love the artwork for it as well. It's really captivating. Tell me again about how that was inspired when you were visiting your friend and you saw that book on the coffee table.
Well, yeah, a friend that I used to work with, I've kept in touch, and she lives in a town near me, and if I'm nearby, I'll say, "Are you in?" And she usually says, "Yeah, do you want to come round for a cup of tea?" So I do. And one time last year, I called round, and the biography of Nina Simone was on the coffee table, and I didn't say anything. I just thought, "Wow, that's cool," you know. And as I left her house, as I walked from her house to my car, the first line of the song just came into my head. She loves Nina Simone, the high priestess of soul. And I thought, okay, I've got an idea. As you're probably aware, Anna, writing songs is, I believe, about 5 or 10% inspiration, and the rest is work. And I got the 5% inspiration and just thought I'd write the song. And I saw my friend a month later, and I just asked her, "So you're a Nina Simone fan?" And she said, "Oh yeah." And she showed me a tattoo on her arm of Nina Simone. So she's the real fan. I was always aware of Nina Simone and her contribution to music and also civil rights and everything. So I was a fan of Nina Simone, but I don't get tattoos of people on my arms. I'm not that at that level yet, you know.
Who knows? Maybe somebody will have a Colin Whittaker tattoo on their arm someday.
Yeah.
But yeah,
About that.
but it's amazing though that you being from the UK were familiar with Nina Simone as a civil activist here in America, and that you're able to put together a song based on her work and her influence. But I was looking at some of the lyrics that you sent me for this song, and I was captivated by the phrasing and just some things like "baby, my baby takes care of me." Um, I don't call a doctor, I don't call a priest, but you're calling basically Nina Simone, and I robbed a bank. I got the money. There's so many different elements in here. Where was my favorite one about the brass knuckles? I know I keep saying that. Hubble bubble. That's another one. Tell me about the lyrics.
Well, the psychic muscle karmic knuckles, I was trying to imply that I had a psychic connection with Nina Simone. Unfortunately, I don't. But in a song, you can say anything. They're not 100% factual. But a lot of the lyrics in Simone are kind of paying homage to her material. For example, "Don't put a spell on me, even though you can." She sang, "I put a spell on you." And the bit about "My baby takes care of me," the song "My baby just cares for me." It's kind of a pastiche of that. So a lot of the lyrics in the song are kind of paying homage to some of her hits and previous things that she's done. So,
well, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I'm not even, I don't know the whole repertoire. So it's it's very interesting. That takes on a whole new element. Now I'm going to be curious to Google some of these lines and see what comes up. But that's, again, and it speaks to how well the accomplishments and the connections with other works. That's really fascinating. That's a totally different layer to the story behind the song. So thanks for sharing that. I wasn't aware of that either.
Yeah, and as I said previously, a few people actually changed the world a little bit, and musicians, a few. John Lennon is one of them, and Nina Simone's another. I believe they've actually changed the world in a good way. So there aren't many people who you can talk about and say that they changed the world a little bit. But Nina Simone did. Her involvement with the civil rights movement was incredibly important. And if you think about how things were in the 50s and the 60s, the world has changed so much in a good way. And I believe that she had a big part in that, So she's a very important person. Even if she wasn't a musician, she'd still be known for her contribution to the world. And when you hear her talking, there are speeches that she made and interviews where she's just a fascinating person, So she was worthy of. But the thing is, if I hadn't seen that book on my friend's coffee table, I never would have written the song. So it's a little bit of inspiration, and you've got to be in the right place at the right time to get the inspiration.
Yeah, absolutely. So. And it turned out so well. So congratulations on that. And you're, as I said, it seems like every time I turn the corner, there's a new song coming out, and you're doing a bang up job with all of that. Tell us about the last song that you wrote as well, which was one of mine.
We recorded High Horse. We called it High Horse Anthem. I heard your original demo, and when I listened to your demo, I could hear this big production job, which we tried. As it turned out, the way the song was recorded was not exactly how I envisaged it, but when I heard your demo, I could hear a lot of potential there. There was definitely masses of potential on that original demo of yours. And the lyrics, without even knowing what the song was about originally, it just sounded important. It just sounded like an important you were making a statement, which you were, but I didn't even know what this statement you were making at the time. But yeah, it was inspirational. It really was. And because it was your song rather than mine, I think we've made a big effort. We wanted to impress you, and we didn't want to let you down, because, we were covering your song and wanted to do a good job of it. So,
oh, that's so
wonderful.
touching.
The recording experience was wonderful on that. Yeah, it was great.
Thank you so much for all of that, and for the incredible job that you did on that song. Again, the song is High Horse, and I wrote that one a couple of years ago. The lyrics were important to me at the time because my ex-husband and I were trying to raise teen daughters, and one of them was going through a very, very hard time, and we really wanted to find a way to imbue all our knowledge into her so that she had the faith and confidence and resiliency to overcome whatever she was going through. But in the process, I just noticed that how we were talking to her wasn't really listening. It was us telling her. And so the whole song is really about, um, not taking that position, like really recognizing as a parent that you can't just tell somebody something and then they know and understand and it's okay, and then they go off and they live their life perfectly. They are going through their own experiences, which even though we have all the knowledge and wisdom from what we went through, we can still have no clue about what they're feeling, even if the scenario is similar. So the whole song is really based on that gap, and really the intent of a parent, which is really out of love and care, but at the same time, we are ignorant at the end of the day, and we need to let them go. There are some things we can tell them, but they're going to have to go through whatever they go through and have their own experience. So we can give them wisdom and then walk away, step back, be humble, let them live it, So thank you for recognizing that that important message. And wow, what you did to that song, I mean, it's really incredible. I didn't expect it at all. And I'll tell the audiences again, when I write songs, I don't write with music. I'm not a musician, because I can't play an instrument. I don't read or write. I can barely sing, but I write a lot of songs, and I only do that in a cappella because that's all I know. So when somebody comes along and listens to my material, they're going to think a few things. One is, ugh, that's terrible, because there's no music and they've never heard music like that. So, and then of course it's my voice, and my voice isn't like a Mariah Carey. So that's another double hitter. And then on a rare occasion, somebody like Colin comes along and says, I can hear a big production out of that. And that is when, the stars align, and then they take it, and they take it to a totally different level. So it's amazing what you accomplished with that song. We've had over 30,000 hits globally, and that continues to climb. And yeah, it just is always amazing to me, the work that we can achieve together when we collaborate. And unexpectedly, who would have thought that my song would be sung by a British country rock, jazz, reggae band with a male singer who's got a British accent? So I love that.
Yeah.
Do you want to tell us about the work that you do as well with charity and donating stream and funds to other causes that are important to you through your music?
Yeah. Well, I have to say that all the people involved with our group, all heard your original demo, and they all liked your original a cappella demo. So, it worked. The original version that you did, the original demo, worked. So, you get the point across on your a cappella songs. So
Thank
can
you.
write songs, Anna. I also love Blink. You know that. I love the song Blink as well. So
I want you to do it. You still should do it. I'm doing a metal version of it, but you should do it.
There's time yet. You never know, we might do. I love that song anyway, so
I'm so glad. Thank you.
Yeah, the charity single we did was when the Russia-Ukraine crisis kicked off. Me, Mike, and Will. Mike's the drummer and Will's the keyboard player. We were recording the song the week that it all started, and Mike and Will had just been watching the news continually, and we couldn't believe that these events were happening, now, because we thought that kind of political bullying was over, and it was just staggering that somebody could act like that. I don't want to get political, but we couldn't believe it, so we wrote the song, and we got in touch with UNICEF, and all the downloads were donated to UNICEF. And surprisingly, with it being a reggae song, a large part of the audience was in America, which was wonderful, because there's a myth, or I don't know if it's a myth, but people in Britain believe that Americans don't like reggae music, but they supported that, and I believe it was the charity aspect mainly. And that is our most successful song, Back to Moscow, in terms of views and everything. and all the charity, all the money went to UNICEF, yeah, which was great. But unfortunately, it's still not over. It's taking a long time to end, isn't it? So the sooner the better.
It's amazing what you've done for that, though, and it's been good for you as well, which is reinforcing the whole message of giving, right? Because you gave through charity and dedication and energy and spirit, and then people gave back by actually streaming and listening, and so it goes full circle, which is amazing what you accomplished with that. So congratulations on that one too. And for a band that um, is not top 40 and streaming millions, you've come a long way, and you are actually quite successful. In total, would you say, how many streams would you say you've had? And it's only getting better with time.
I think we're up to about 300,000. I'm not sure.
300,000. That's amazing.
Oh, yeah, something like that. It may be even more than that. But Back to Moscow got 120,000 on its own. And then we were encouraged, because it was a reggae song, we were encouraged to do more reggae. We were asked I was asked to write more reggae songs. And the song that came after Back to Moscow was called Paper Cuts. And the amazing thing about that one is that we'd supported Ukraine with Back to Moscow, and most of the audience for the follow-up Paper Cuts was from the Ukrainians. 89% of our audience for that one was Ukraine.
Is that right?
Incredible. It was really nice.
Again, it shows that people are listening, which is amazing, because sometimes as an artist, you wonder, right? But it's nice that you can see that, and you could see those trends as well, with all of the data that we have access to now, and the metric boards on performance of our songs, which is really cool. And you can track that. But yeah, I think it is a myth. And ska music, as an example, is a strong example of popularity here in the States. So there were ska bands in the UK that would come and have successful tours in America as well. So it's always interesting, the mix and the niche plays that certain groups and music influences have, and you certainly have, and continue to develop and refine your own niche, which is amazing. And I think it's a sign of things to come. I'm so excited about the work that you do, and the success you're having, and I want to help promote you. And what's really cool is that we've actually never met in person. We have only spoken via email, perhaps an occasional quick conversation, and all of this started through again LinkedIn, which is absolutely incredible. How about, where are you going next? What's up next for you guys?
I'm not sure. I don't really know. At the moment, I'm waiting for my friend Will to return to recording. I've written 5 songs this year already. The sketches, I've got to decide which one I'm going to record next. But I'm certainly not short of ideas. What it's like writing songs. It's a compulsion, an addiction with me. And I just love the whole recording process. So we'll just have to see where we go. We were encouraged to continue writing reggae songs. I was asked to write reggae songs because they were our most successful genre. So
that's something that we can look forward to. Yeah, fantastic. I definitely look forward to hearing more reggae, whatever you come up with, actually. And what I love about you guys, again, is just how eclectic the sound is, and the different instrumentation. And it's not just about guitars and the standard status quo. I mean, in the song that you did for me, High Horse, you have flutes in there. There's, different instrumentation, orchestral maneuvers. So where do you draw that from? I mean, how does that come to you?
I think my background and the other guy's background, when we first started, when we were all young guys, like teenagers, we were all working in cover bands. And if you work in a cover band, you have to cover a vast range of music. You're covering whatever's in the charts at that particular time. So I think if you grow up as a young kid playing all different kinds of music, it's no surprise that you can cover any kind of music later on. So I think the background in covering, being in a covers band, which we all did in separate units, probably helps with that. Will was also went to university, music college. So he's the most trained of us all. I'm not really. I got into music college and didn't go, but there you go. So he's trained, and we're trained through experience more than anything else, So,
and that says a whole other story again about the spectrum of artistry and where the capabilities are built and come from. You can have musicians that have no formal training whatsoever, and it's all based on hearing and sound and taking the time to figure it out manually, step by step, note by note. And that's incredible dedication to do that and mastery, and I think a whole different type of intelligence, actually. And then you have those that are just really good at absorbing the technical training, the academic, the formality of it, and just practice, and getting that all down. And wow, when we can all come together and create something, it's so powerful, and everybody's background and experience just gets to bloom and blossom in incredibly different and creative ways. So I love that about you guys, and I'm so excited about what the future holds. And I wanted to close off with, just if you could touch on, you mentioned it earlier and we missed it with this part of the interview. But when you were first starting out, and what were people saying about your voice and about your style?
Well, Decca Records, who everybody around the world have probably heard of Decca Records, they turned down the Beatles, famously. They once, we sent them a demo when I was first starting writing songs, and some A&R man described my vocals as boring. And I didn't think they were boring at the time, but that criticism stayed with me. And so whenever I'm singing and recording, I do all kinds of things. I'm a bit like an actor when it comes to my vocals. I'll try and be all different types of people. And I think it all goes back to this comment of when I was about 16 years old, and my vocals described as boring. So negative criticism can be positive if you take it on board and react to it, which is what I did. So my vocals I always make a big effort with my vocals, and I'm a bit of a chameleon when it comes to singing. I don't sing in one style. I sing in all different kinds of style, and it's probably because of the criticism that I got when I was a kid, So, and can I just say one thing about High Horse, Hannah?
Yes.
You say that you don't like. You say you don't like music, which I'm not disputing that. But when we worked out the demo in the studio, there were so many chords on that song. So you don't like music, but you had so many chords in that original demo, believe it or not, that we had to simplify it and lose 4 or 5 or 6, maybe half a dozen chords. We lost them. We thought, it's too complicated, this song. And we simplified it. So for someone who doesn't like music, you're doing a damn good job.
That's hilarious. That is, and I'll tell you why.
It's absolutely true, though.
It's so funny because I have my ex-husband who makes fun of me we're still friends. He makes fun of me all the time. And with music writing, he says I never write more than songs with 2 or 3 chords. And he says I'm completely incompetent because he likes all these more sophisticated styles, and his sister runs a band that is, an orchestra, like a formal band, a whole orchestra full of different folks that are using different instruments, complicated, writing and theory, and I don't do that. So to hear you say that is really funny, and but I love that, and thank you for the kind and supportive words. I wouldn't have thought. But it's funny now too, because with AI, I just started for the first time last week to run through some of my songs in the system, and I can see the chords now, where before I had to depend on somebody to try and do the translation. But now I can actually see what I'm doing, which is really cool. But that's a very interesting observation, and I appreciate that. And I did want to end on the note that that you mentioned earlier, which is basically, you take criticism, right? And you take it, you can't take it personally. You have to take it positively, and you twist it around. You see how you can make it work for you, to improve what you're trying to do, and or you take it and you say, I don't buy that, and you do what you're doing anyway. And I really want to convey that to anybody that's listening, regardless of the age. People can come along at any point in your musical career, or any point in your professional career, personal, whatever, and have a very harsh comment that they feel compelled to share with you. And people may not always be kind, but at the end of the day, it goes back to the example that Colin just made. Decca Records rejected the Beatles. So when they come along and they tell Colin he doesn't have a good voice, it's like, yeah, whatever. But look what he's done, and look what he's doing. And at the same time, like Colin, I love that you created your whole image, and your whole package is based on the eclectic sound and unique sound that you and the boys have put together. And I just love you guys so much. I'm one of your biggest fans here, and I really hope that people will step up and take a listen to Simone and Paper Cups, Come Home, and of course High Horse Anthem, which thank you so much for taking that on and turning that into something so incredibly beautiful. Thanks for joining us today. It was such a pleasure to have you here.
Thank you, Anna. I've enjoyed it. It's been great. And keep writing those songs.
Thank you so much. And one of these days we'll get it on Eurovision. We'll see what we could do with that.
Well, we all said yes to that. So we were ready. We were ready to go. It would have been wonderful. It would have been quite a bizarre situation for some guys from Leeds in England to represent Cyprus, but we were ready to go, and it would have been fantastic to sing High Horse at the Eurovision Song Contest. Would have been amazing. So you never know. One day it might happen.
One day we're going to work towards it. Thank you so much, Colin. You have a great day. Wow. Thank you so much to Colin Whittaker for joining us here today. It was so much fun to actually speak with him in greater detail about the music and the work that they do. If you want to find more information on Colin and the band, the new release, Simone, is out on all streaming platforms, including YouTube. So make sure you go there to check out the new video. And if you're looking for information on Colin specifically, you can find them on Facebook and or Instagram. And if you're looking for that, make sure that you spell the name correctly. COL1LINWHITTAKER. And that wraps up our session here today. Thank you so much. A pleasure to be here. My name is Anna Nicholson, signing off. I am an EntreMusician, and so are you.